Welcome to the Edupedia world. Today, in this tutorial, we learn about operators in Java. So let's begin. Basically, an operator is a symbol that operates on one or more argument to produce a result. Java provides a rich set of operators to manipulate variables. So operator is a symbol which actually operates on one or more argument and produce a result. And let's see now what is operand. Basically, an operand are variables on which operators act upon. An operand can be a numeric value in case of integer, floating point or characters. For example, 3, 3.2 or a character A. Or it can be a primitive type variable which is a numeric or a boolean, example true, false or 2, 3, 1, any number, numeric number. Then we have a reference variable which is a object. A reference variable to an object can also be an operand. So you might also put an operator in between, let's say, two different objects and try to add them or equate them or assign one object to another using an operand. Then we have literal. Basically, a literal is a numeric value, boolean value or a string. Then we have array element. So array element can be any array element with the index. Over here as an example, the array element with the bracket having 2. So the index over here is 2. Then we have char primitive type, which in numeric operation is treated as an unsigned 2-byte integer. So if you are going to put a numeric operator between char primitive operands, then yeah, it will give you unsigned 2-byte integer because it will be treated as unsigned 2-byte integer. Okay guys, now let's study some of the types of operators that Java has. So the first operator is assignment operator. Then we have increment and decrement operator. So just to give you a summary, assignment operator includes equal to operator. So it's a single equals to which is used to assign one variable to another. Then we have increment and decrement operator, which are plus plus and minus minus. Then we have arithmetic operator. After arithmetic operator, we have bitwise operator. Then we have relational operators. Then we have logical operators, ternary operators, comma operators, and instance of operator. So over here, I would also like to include a 10th operator, which is new. Basically, new keyword is also a kind of operator. Okay. So in this tutorial, I think we'll be able to cover the top 3 operators, which are assignment, increment, decrement, and arithmetic operator. And maybe we'll cover rest of the operators in our second video. So let's begin. Okay, so let's study assignment operator. Assignment operator statement has the following syntax, in which we have variable equals to expression. So you usually write the expression on the right hand side and you have to write a variable on the left hand side. Okay, so over here what you are doing is you are assigning this expression or the result of this expression to the variable that is on left hand side. Okay, so let's see some of the examples of assigning a primitive value. Over here we have declared int a and b, and then we are assigning 2 to the variable a. So variable is on a left hand side and the expression or a value or a constant, whatever is it, is on a right hand side. So we are assigning whatever is there on the right hand side to a variable on left hand side. Similarly, when we are doing b equals to 5, okay. So these were assigning primitive types. Now let's see some of the examples of assigning reference type. So over here, home1 equals to new home. So in this we are creating a new object home, and then in a second line we are creating home2 equals to home1. So what we are doing is we are assigning the reference of home1 in home2. So what the reference where home1 is pointing to the same reference whom 2 is pointing. So it's, in a memory we are having the data, and to the data whom 1 was pointing. Now we have created a reference home 2, and home 2 is also pointing to the same location where home 1 is pointing. So assigning references means, pointing to a same memory location, because these are objects. So when we say home 1, home 2 equals to home 1. So in this case, what happening is it is assigning to the same memory location. So in a way, it is an object and it is assigning to a same memory location, and it is also constituting a copy. So in case you changes any of the, let's say, data member of home 2, that doesn't mean it will change for home 1 also. It will only change for home 2, because if you change the values, then the copy that home 2 is having gets changed. Okay, so now let's study about increment and decrement operator. Well, just to give you a start, that in some of the books you might find increment and decrement operator being a part of arithmetic operator, which is also absolutely fine. Some books do contain decrement and increment operators within a arithmetic operator. So like nothing to worry about, it's absolutely fine. You can keep it as it is, okay? So regarding decrement and increment operator, add a integer variable by 1. So whenever you have to add or decrease a integer variable by 1, we use increment or decrement operator. So increment operator uses 2 successive plus sign, and decrement operator uses 2 successive minus sign. Okay, so these are some of the examples of increment and decrement operators. So on the right hand side, you can see I'm writing a shorthand notation. So this shorthand notation where it's like a plus plus or plus plus a. So internally what's happening when you write this statement is a is equal to a plus 1. And similarly when you're doing a minus minus or minus minus a. So internally what's happening is a is equal to a minus 1. So just to tell you, like actually a plus plus and plus plus a has a slight difference, and similarly there's a difference between a minus minus or minus minus a. We'll cover that on in a further slide. As of now, I just want to explain you what's happening behind the scenes. So whenever you are using an increment operator, 1 is getting added to your variable and it is assigned back to that variable. So the value of your variable becomes incremented by 1. And in case of decrement, it is getting decremented by 1. I hope that's clear. Okay, so this is the example which will let you know the difference between plus plus and using a post plus plus and using a pre plus plus. So when you are doing plus plus a, so it is called a pre increment, and when you are doing a plus plus, it is called a post increment. And similar in case of minus minus a, which is post pre decrement, and a minus minus, which is post decrement. So there's a difference between post and pre. And now let's see how it is different. So let's consider this example. In this example, we have created a class example, and then we have created a main method. Inside the main method, just concentrate on the yellow block, on the yellow region. So in the yellow region, we have created 5 variables: J, P, Q, R, and S. Okay, so in the first line over here, we are assigning the value 5 to a variable j. Okay, and then in the second line, we are doing p equals to plus plus j. So internally, what's happening behind the scene when you are doing a pre-increment using plus plus j is j equals to j plus 1, and then j is assigned to p. So firstly, the increment happens because it's a pre-increment. After the increment is done, then the value of j is assigned to p. So let's guess the output what will be if you do system.out.println and you print the value of p. Well, since initially we are having j equals to 5 and then j was incremented, firstly j was converted to 6 and that value 6. was assigned to P, so the value of P will become 6. So yeah, if you run this program, then you will see the value of P will be 6. Okay, now let's move towards the fifth line, which is Q equals to J plus plus. So in this line, what's happening is Q equals to J. So firstly, the assignment is happening. Firstly, the J is assigned to Q and then J is incremented by 1. So over here, it's post increment. So increment is happening after the assignment has happened. So firstly, the assignment happens where J is assigned to Q. And then J is incremented by 1. So if you try to print the value of Q as we are doing in this line, so since Q is assigned to J firstly and J was 6 till this step, so the value of Q will come as 6. And then you are incrementing the value of J. J is equal to J plus 1. So over here, the value of J will become 7. So this is, these two lines are showing what's happening internally, but in code you're only writing J plus plus. So J plus plus internally is first assigning J to Q and then incrementing the value of J. So by doing that, J will become 7 and Q will remain as 6. I hope you got the concept that it is doing a post increment. So that means it firstly it's assigning J to Q and then doing the increment. Okay. Okay, now moving forward to this line where we are saying R equals to minus minus J. So in this case, what's happening is we are doing a pre-decrement. So in case of pre-decrement, firstly the value of J will be decremented by 1 and then it will be assigned to R. So as showed in the comment section that firstly we are decrementing the value of J and then we are assigning it to R. So in this case, when we are decrementing the value of J, so what do you think will be the value of J over here? So when we have decremented it to J in the last section, when the J was, incremented, it became 7. So when we are decrementing the value of J, it will become 6. And then we are assigning it to R, so the R will have the value 6. So when we are going to print the value of R in this line, it will actually print 6 over here. So I hope that's fine. And then what we are doing is we are basically then doing a post decrement. In post decrement, what happens as in case of a post increment? So firstly, the value of J will be assigned to S and after that it will be decremented. So it's a post decrement. So firstly assign and then do a decrement. So when we assign the value of J to 6, the S will become 6 because J was 6 till now. And then we have decremented the value of J. So if you print the value of S, the value of S will come as 6. And if you try to print the value of J after this line, it will come as 5 because you have decremented it afterwards. I hope this example is quite clear. And yeah, you can try running this example in your Eclipse as we have studied how to download an Eclipse in our previous tutorial. I hope that you have done that. And yeah, I think you can try running this program. This will give you a better understanding. And yeah, this is a really important concept to understand what's the difference between post and pre-decrement. So just to tell in case of a recursive calls, I hope you understand what do I mean by recursive call. So recursive call is like one method is calling the method itself within that method. So, I have created a method, let's say multiply, and within the definition of the method, I'm again calling that method multiply. So, calling a method within that method is called recursive call. So, whenever you are doing any recursive call and you have to, use a increment operator, always use pre-increment operator, never use a post-increment operator because if you do a post increment then you'll get an exception. And why do you get so? The reason is because in case of a post increment it is firstly assigning the value and then incrementing it. So whenever your condition occurs when you have to stop the recursion, it won't get stopped at appropriate place because the value assigned is one lesser and after that the J or whatever your variable is has got incremented. So, that might create an error. So, I would advise you to try that recursive call example and try using pre and post increment in that and try doing that yourself. You'll get a better understanding. I hope we are good and I'm moving forward. Okay. So that was about post and pre increment and decrement operator, and now we are going to study other arithmetic operators. So arithmetic operators are used to construct mathematical expression as in algebra. Their operand are of the type numeric type. So all arithmetic operators do contains numeric operands, and well, they are used in algebra by constructing a mathematical expressions. Okay guys, so these are some of the arithmetic operators that we'll be studying. So I hope you are quite aware of the first four operators, that are plus, minus, multiplication and division. Subtraction can also be used as a unary minus with a single operand. So unary operators are those which can be used with a single operand. Okay. Then we have modulus operator. Well, modulus operator is to give you a remainder. Then we have increment operator. Increment operator we have already studied. It can be used as a post and pre-increment. Then we have addition assignment operator. Then we are having a subtraction assignment. Okay, so subtraction assignment and addition assignment are used, to doing a addition or a subtraction on the same variable. We'll be studying that in an example. Okay, and then we have a multiplication assignment. After that, we have division assignment and modulus assignment, and then we have decrement operator. So, I guess so we'll be studying these by doing trying an example in Eclipse. Okay, so let's read a simple arithmetic operator example over here. So it's a very simple example in which we have created a main method in an example class, and we have assigned number of variables. So we have assigned the value of two of them, which are j and k, and the value that we have assigned is 5 and 2. I hope that's quite clear and you would be able to guess the result. So let's guess what will be the value of p, since p is doing j plus k. So the value of p will be 5 plus 2, which is 7. Then the value of q, which is doing 5 minus 2, which would be 3. After that, R, which is doing 5 into 2, J into K, so that would be 10. After that, we have S. S is doing J divided by K. So over here, the value that we get is quotient. Okay, so that could be like 2.5, but S over here is an integer, so it will remove the decimal point, so the S will contain 2. Then we have T. T is equal to j modulus k. So over here modulus gives you the remainder. So the remainder that we get by dividing 5 by 2 is 1. So the value of t would be 1. Okay. So I hope that's clear. And yeah, this is the output. I hope you also got it right. Okay. So let's move forward. Okay, so now let's try example in the Eclipse. Okay guys, so this is a class which I have created. The name of the class is operator example, and I have created a main method inside it. And then we are doing some of the operators. We are going to try some of the operators. Now let's try the modulus operator. What do you think will be the remainder when you will divide 2 by 6? Well, it will be 2. Just try out. It will become 2. Okay, because you are dividing 2 by 6, not 6 by 2. Just remember that. Now, these were simple ones. Now, let's try one of our increment operators. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to print plus a. So, what do you think will be the value of plus a? Well, the value is 2. Why do you think 2? Because we are incrementing a. Shouldn't it be 3? Well, it will be 2 because we are doing a post increment. What happens in post increment is firstly the value is assigned and then increment happens. So over here when we are doing system.out.println a++, firstly the value of A is kind of assigned to system.out.println and then increment happens. So in this case, when the value is assigned, the initial value of A would be 2. So the value 2 is assigned, and after that the increment happened. So after that the value of A will become as 3. What do you think will be the output if I do this? So firstly I'm doing A++, I'm printing A++, and then I'm printing A. So firstly I have assigned the value of A to SOP, then I'm doing the increment, and then I am printing the value of A. Well, I guess it would be 2 and 3. Well, yeah, I'm right because A is firstly assigned to SOP system.out.println. After that is incremented. So when you are printing the value of SOP A++ over here, the value of A will get printed. Okay, and afterwards when you are doing printing the value of A again, here the incremented value will be printed because by doing post increment, you have actually incremented it in a previous line. Let's try the same thing with pre-increment. So let's guess. I think it should be 3 and 3. Well, yeah. Why is it so? Because over here we are doing a pre-increment. So firstly the increment is done. Firstly the increment of 2 by 1 is done. So the value of A will become 3 over here only. So when you are doing a pre-increment, firstly the value is incremented to 3 and then it is assigned to system.out.println. Okay, so the printed value will be 3 and over here you are simply printing the value of A, which is 3. So I hope it's clear, and yeah, you can try doing that in your decrement operator also. So since we are doing a decrement operator, I think the value will be 2 and 1. I hope it's quite clear. Why is it 2 and 1? Because it's a post decrement. Firstly, the value of A is assigned to system.out.println and then afterwards it's decremented. So in the second line, when you're again printing the value of A, the decremented value will be printed. And the first line, the value of A as it is will be printed because firstly the assignment happened. Okay, and as soon as the assignment happened, it printed and the 2 got printed. After that it decremented, and again when you are printing the value of A, the decremented value got printed. And also let me try pre-decrement. I hope the output should be 1 and 1. Well, yeah, it is because we are doing a pre-decrement. We are decrementing the value of 2, assigning it to system.out.println, and again printing the value of A. I hope it's correct. I hope you got it, okay? Because it's a really important concept. Okay, now let me remove this and let's try something else. Let's try assignment multiplication. So what is assignment multiplication? In assignment multiplication, we actually do A is equal to A into 4 and we can write it in a shorthand notation using A star equals 4. Okay, so A star equals 4 internally is equivalent to A is equal to A into 4. So both of these will give you the same output because what they are doing is they are doing the same thing. So let's print the value of A using these two. So over here, the first one you can see A is equal to A into 4, which I have done. So A was initially 2. So 2 into 4 will give me a value of 8. Now the value of my A is 8. Now when you are doing 8 into 4, it will give you the value of A as 32. In order to show you, that it's like it will produce the same output, I have to reassign A to 2 over here so that you can actually see it's doing the same thing. So I'm actually reassigning the value of A back to 2 and it will give you the same output because A into equals to 4 and A equals to A into 4 is actually the same thing. It's a shorthand notation which is called multiplication assignment. So I hope you got what this is doing. It's actually doing A is equal to A into 4. Similarly, you can also try out doing addition. So in case of addition assignment, it will actually internally do a equals to a plus 4. So that will give you 6. Now let's also try out a minus equals to. So the subtraction assignment will give you a is equal to a minus 4, which will give you minus 2. Let's also try out division assignment. So this will give you 2 divided by 4, which will give you the output as 0. And let's try out printing the remainder using modulus operator. A equals to a modulus 4. That internally works and it will give you the output as 2. So I hope the assignment operators are quite clear in this tutorial. So yeah, we'll study from the bitwise operator in the next video. Okay guys, so thank you as of now. Let's meet in the next video.